Some settings can break your game experience or make it better. Here are 7 key defense settings that work as secret weapons when defending in FC26. Between tactical and advanced defending, the choice has been confusing at the start of FC26. In FC26, we have 2 defending types, tactical and advanced defending, each offering a distinctive approach to how you defend. Many players still find it hard to choose which defending type they should go with, so let's break it down. In this game, we have 4 types of tackling. The stand tackle, which you normally use when your defender is directly in front of the opponent's player. The shoulder push, which is used when your defender is side to side with the opposition. The slide tackle, here your player slides into a tackling challenge. And the professional tackle, which happens when your player is behind the opponent. But that one often leads to a foul, so we'll skip it. Starting with tactical defending, this has AI assistance. When you press the tackle button, the game automatically decides the best defensive action, whether it's a stand tackle, a shoulder push. Now with advanced defending, things are manual. The defensive buttons are separated, meaning when you press circle, your player performs a stand tackle, and when you press X, he performs a shoulder push. This gives you complete control over your defensive actions. You can decide when to use the shoulder push, shoulder-to-shoulder position to unbalance your opponent, or when in front of that player, go for the stand tackle when the moment feels right. That control is what makes advanced defending powerful now. It lets you dictate how you want to defend, not the game. In FC25, tactical defending was the easy option because, and even in FC26 before the patch, it allowed you to focus on positioning without worrying which action to use. But that also meant the AI sometimes made the wrong choice, using a stand tackle when a shoulder push is better. It's not consistent, yes. Tactical defending, the AI makes wrong decisions a lot. It's not easy to win the ball unless you're too close to the player or in front to perform a stand tackle. Advanced defending removes that limitation. If you're someone who has already mastered positioning, switching, and defensive timing, advanced defending is what you need to use now. However, if you still struggle with switching or get lost while defending, start with tactical until you're comfortable. Once you've built confidence, move to advanced. Now let's talk about one of the most debated settings, player relative or ball relative for right stick switching. This setting determines how your right stick switches players on defense. Ball relative settings. The ball is the reference point. You flick the stick in the direction of the player you want to switch to, using the ball as the center. This can help new players understand direction faster, especially when pressing near the ball. Player relative, on the other hand, uses your controlled player as the center of reference. You flick toward the direction of the player you want to control, based on your current defender's position. This gives you more accuracy and better switching when defending deep or when tracking wide runs. So what's the best between the two? For most players, it doesn't really matter as long as you're comfortable with your choice, but there's one small note here. If you've already mastered right stick switching, stick with what you've been using, but if you struggle to learn it or you always switch to the wrong player, try using ball relative. If you've totally failed to learn right stick switching and you just can't get it right, ball relative might help you start building the habit. Then comes assisted or manual jockey. This is one of the most important defending mechanics, especially for one-on-one situations. Now, in FC26, there's a key difference depending on what mode you play. If you play online, skip the confusion. Online modes only allow manual jockey. Assisted jockey only works offline, so keep that in mind. But for understanding, here's the difference. With assisted jockey, the game helps you control the defender's speed while jockeying. For example, if you're holding L2 and R2 while tracking the attacker, the game slows your defender slightly when you approach tight angles or sensitive areas, preventing you from overcommitting and losing shape. Once you pass that point, it releases control and you move freely again. It's great for beginners or offline modes because it maintains good positioning. Manual jockey, however, gives you full freedom. The speed control is on you. You move entirely based on your analog stick, which means it demands better reactions, fine control, and awareness. If you push too far, you'll drag your defender out of position. That's the trade-off. More freedom, but more responsibility. If you ask me which one is better between manual and assisted jockey, I'd say assisted jockey feels better for FC26. Defending in this game is tough. Dribbling is extremely sharp and hard to contain, so having that bit of speed assistance makes a big difference. The only problem is, you can only use it in offline modes. So for online players, especially in Ultimate Team, we're cooked. We have to suffer with manual jockey. Since all online modes force you to use manual jockey, you have no choice but to learn it. It's the foundation of defending at a high level. The key is to read your opponent's touches carefully, avoid holding sprint for too long, and make your jockey adjustments short and controlled. Once you get that rhythm down. Next, the next player switch indicator. This small feature can completely change your defensive awareness. It's that tiny icon that appears above one of your AI defenders, showing who will be selected next when you press L1. To turn it on, go to Settings, then Gameplay Settings, move to the Visual section, scroll down to Next Player Switch Indicator, and toggle it on. This feature is extremely useful because it helps you predict which player you'll control when using the quick switch, the L1. Instead of gambling or switching blindly, you'll always know which defender will be selected, which gives you time to prepare your defensive movement. You can position that player better, close passing lanes, or get ready to press. It's also useful when you use second man press with R1. You'll know exactly which AI defender is about to pressure the opponent, so you don't accidentally pull the wrong defender out of position. This setting improves defensive awareness and reduces switching mistakes, especially when reacting quickly to fast attacks. Next is auto switching. This setting determines how the game switches your controlled defender. Picking the right one can completely change how you defend. We have manual, where no automatic switching happens at all. This means every switch is fully your responsibility. It's great for skilled players but punishes late reactions. Then there's automatic, where the game switches players for you around the ball. But this one removes a lot of your control and often switches you to the wrong player at the worst time. The best balance is air balls and loose balls. With this option, the game only assists you when the ball is in the air or during 50-50 loose situations. It gives you manual control most of the time, but still helps when you're defending crosses or long aerial passes. It's the perfect middle ground. You're not fighting the game, but you're also not letting it take over. You still handle ground switches manually, which makes your defending more consistent and stable. Let's move to camera settings. Having the right camera is one of the most underrated ways to improve defending. If you can't see the right angles or track off-ball runs, you'll always be one step behind. In FC26, there are 3 main cameras that matter: the EA Sports Game Cam, the telebroadcast, and the co-op camera. The EA Sports Game Cam gives you a dynamic and realistic feel, but it doesn't zoom out, so you don't get the full pitch awareness. The telebroadcast is the classic TV-style camera. It's good-looking and immersive, but too zoomed in for competitive play. You can't always see your off-screen defenders or runs behind your backline. Then we have this new Ultimate Team competitive camera. If you play offline, just leave it on disable. But online, it's only activated when using Ultimate Team Stadiums. Remember, Ultimate Team Stadiums. That's why the co-op camera is the best for defending. It gives you a wide pitch view, allowing you to read the game better, react to switches faster, and maintain your defensive shape. You can also customize it for comfort. Personally, I recommend setting the height to 20 and the zoom to 0. This gives a wider pitch coverage and lets you anticipate attacks early, making player switching and positioning much easier. Try that setup and see the difference in your awareness. You'll instantly feel more in control during transitions and when facing high-pressing opponents. Now, have you ever felt like your controller inputs don't fully match what happens in-game? Maybe you press a tackle or a pass, but it doesn't respond the way you expected. That's where Input Overlay comes in. Input Overlay is a feature that visually shows your controller inputs in real time. You can see every button press, stick movement, and trigger activation as you play. To turn it on, go to Game Settings, then to the Visuals section. This feature is powerful because it helps you understand how your inputs affect gameplay. You'll know whether it's input lag, bad timing, or your own mistake. Competitive players use it all the time to fine-tune their mechanics. Input Overlay lets them see if it was a delay or a mistimed press. For casual players, it helps you understand if your sluggish controls are caused by connection issues or just mechanical habits. And for content creators or analysts, it's perfect for educational videos, tutorials, and tactical breakdowns.